Dan Nevis.
From the VON Newsline, this is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening, I am Tashan Tyson in with your VON Major News package for today, Monday, May 20th, 2019. No lead stories. Nationally, participants launched for Culturama 45 pageants, and Denzil Douglas re-elected unopposed as Labour Party leader at 87th conference. Regionally, Barbados willing to divest some of its Liat shares. Internationally, billionaire to pay entire U.S. class student debt. And in sports, Bath United under 17 secures third place in football tournament in St. Martin. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
Welcome back, and now the national news in detail. A roster of 16 contestants participating in this year's Culturama festivities has been launched. The launching took place at the Mount Nevis Hotel on Saturday, 18th May at 5:30 p.m. Revealed were 6 contestants for the Miss Culture Queen pageant, 6 contestants for the Miss Culture Premier pageant, and 6 participants for the Mr. Cool competition. Tecia Burton is the chairperson of the Culturama Senior Pageant Subcommittee.
The 6 lovely ladies we have for Miss Culture Queen, namely Miss Janita Smithson, we have Shani David, Tarika Brown, Naila Daniels, Pasha Pamanand, and of course Miss Nakisa Sibu. For the Miss Culture Swimwear competition, we have namely Alea Gibson, Danielle Chumney, Babita Nikita Silal, we have Vincia Sturge, Caricia Francis, and Natalia Morton. For the guys, we have Curtly B.J. Liburn, Darius Hodge, David Archibald, Monique Jerry Jeffers, Xavier Sam, and Marlon Kelly.
When asked by the VON Newsline how the preparations are coming for the various contests, this was Miss Burton's response.
I would say nicely, slow but steady. The committee and I are definitely just finalizing a few items. More or less we're looking at the overall production of the show because we know that is also important. While you can have, a good roster of contestants, you definitely want to make sure that the audience are entertained throughout the pageant. So that is one of the things that we're currently still working on as it relates to the production of both shows.
Chairperson of the Culturama Senior Pageant Subcommittee, Miss Tecia Burton. Leader of the Opposition and leader of the St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party, SKNLP, the Right Honourable Dr. Denzil Douglas, has been re-elected to lead the Labour Party for another year. This comes as the party held its 87th annual national conference on Sunday, May 19th at the St. Kitts Marriott Resort and Royal Beach Casino. All 8 constituency branches of the party submitted the name of Dr. Douglas, the parliamentary representative for St. Christopher No. 6. Delegates also re-elected the Honourable Marcella Liburd, Member of Parliament for St. Christopher No. 2, as Deputy Political Leader. Dr. Terence Joe was re-elected as Chairman, Diana Williams was re-elected to the post of Secretary, and the new Assistant Secretary is Krias Freeman. Nominated officers are Don Grant, Tamisha Fifield, Mariette Williams, and Nerissa Shiverton. The business session for delegates was held in the morning and the public session took place in the afternoon. The National Carnival's Organizing Committee has officially announced that applications are now being accepted for potential contestants for the various pageants. According to a statement issued by the committee last Tuesday, registration for the National Carnival Queen pageant and the National Carnival GQ and swimsuit competitions is now open. The pageants are usually held in late December, and each contest is normally comprised of 6 contestants or delegates. This comes approximately 7 months before the annual festivities commence. Registration will close on Friday, May 31st at 4 p.m. A sitting of the Nevis Island Assembly has been scheduled for Tuesday, May 21st at the Assembly's Chamber, Hamilton House in Charlestown. The sitting will commence at 10 a.m. According to the order paper circulated by the Clerk of the Assembly, Miss Myra Williams, the sitting will commence with the formal entry of President of the Assembly, the Honorable Farrell Smithen. His entry will be followed by prayers, motion for the approval of the order paper as circulated, messages from the Deputy Governor General, announcements by the President, papers to be laid, statements by ministers, personal explanations, and before public business when the bill will be read. The session will close with an adjournment. During the sitting, Minister of Physical Planning, the Honorable Spencer Brand, will move the second and third reading of the Nevis Planning and Development Control Amendment Bill 2019. This will be the second sitting for 2019, and the proceedings will be carried live here on VON Radio. Prime Minister Dr. Honorable Timothy Harris has extended his heartfelt condolences and those of the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis to the family and loved ones of Mr. Ron Fish. Mr. Fish was a developer of the Half Moon Bay Villas and the founding partner of Peninsula Associates LLC, the development arm of Sundance Ridge Estates. PM Harris was quoted as saying, "Ron made significant and lasting contributions to his adopted homeland, helping to develop our country in a tangible way, and he will be greatly missed." He also extended sympathies to Mrs. Ann Fish and their 3 children, David, Jackie, and Jenny. Ron Fish passed away on May 10, 2019, at the age of 73 years. He was born in the USA on February 20th, 1946. Mr. Fish first arrived in St. Kitts during the early 1990s and soon after sold his company in Rhode Island, USA, before moving to St. Kitts with his dear wife, Anne. He was appointed Deputy Chair of the Development Control and Planning Board in May 2015 and resigned due to medical reasons in January 2019. Prime Minister Dr. Honorable Timothy Harris has clarified any misconception as it relates to his cabinet's recent policy shift regarding the number of years an individual can be married before citizenship can be granted. PM Harris also noted last week that the cabinet took into consideration the provisions provided to persons under the Constitution of St. Kitts and Nevis. The Cabinet of the Government of National Unity approved that the Ministry of National Security can now process application for citizenship by marriage on request, subject to the relevant legal documentation being provided. The Cabinet concluded, after thorough research, that there is no legal requirement to prevent persons from obtaining citizenship by marriage, except for any unwritten policy which seems to be at a variance with the law. Prime Minister Harris noted that the Cabinet acted upon the advice from the Attorney General's office to avoid these matters going to the court of law and persons being vindicated at a heavy cost to the government. He also reminded all that there still remains a strict due diligence process that follows a person's application for citizenship through marriage. Know your numbers. That was the theme for this year's observance of World Hypertension Day, May 17, 2019. The theme was selected with the aim of increasing high blood pressure awareness in all populations around the world. Hypertension is another name for high blood pressure, which can lead to severe complications. It also increases the risk of stroke and death. In an address to mark the day, Junior Minister of Health here in Nevis, the Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams, noted that here in St. Kitts and Nevis, hypertension remains a serious health concern.
St. Kitts and Nevis, similar to the rest of the region, has documented uncontrolled high blood pressure and its complications as a major cause of sickness and death. Cardiovascular disease, such as heart attacks and strokes, are also leading causes of death, which can result from poorly controlled blood pressure.
He noted that there is an alarming number of individuals suffering from hypertension in the Twin Island nation.
According to the latest data from the Ministry of Health in 2017, there were 522 persons with high blood pressure registered in the public health centers on Nevis. Of these, 148 were males and 344 were females. The number of persons with high blood pressure can be higher, as some are not aware of their numbers because they have not seen a doctor for diagnosis. It is therefore incumbent on us to emphasize the importance of having regular blood pressure checks to know our numbers and make the necessary interventions to control it.
The Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams. In observance of the day, a number of blood pressure-related activities was held here on the island by the Health Promotion Unit in collaboration with the International Cooperation and Development Fund, ICDF. A social media workshop, which was held from May 14th to the 16th at the Ocean Terrace Inn, OTI in St. Kitts, has been said to be a success. 50 journalists, media workers, and managers from St. Kitts and Nevis participated in the 3-day workshop, which was sponsored by UNESCO in partnership with the UNESCO Cluster Office for the Caribbean, the St. Kitts and Nevis National Commission for UNESCO, the University of the West Indies UWI Open Campus, and the Association of Caribbean Media Workers. Social media refers to websites and applications that enable users to create and share content or to participate in social networking interaction. Here is one of the facilitators of the workshop, Ms. Anika Kentish.
Well, basically, I believe it went exceptionally well. We are very happy with the turnout, and we're particularly pleased with the fact that the participants were highly engaged throughout the entire process. We realized that especially after lunchtime, when things can be a little sluggish, that people were still asking questions, still involved in the discussion, and that really is what kept us going throughout the entire process. It was important for us to ensure that when we did this workshop that it was not just a matter of dealing with the technicalities, because we came in with the assumption that everybody would have an idea of how to post, how to take down in those technical matters.
Ms. Kentish mentioned that it was necessary to highlight the proper use of social media.
We really wanted to guide people as to the proper use, as the name of the workshop implies, so that everybody understands the do's and don'ts, the rules of engagement, what would be in good taste, what's in bad taste, and more importantly, what is in keeping with the guidelines as is set out in the document that was produced by the Public Media Alliance in conjunction with UNESCO. So these were the things that we really wanted to cover, and I think we were able to cover them over time. I am also happy with the camaraderie of the group. I mean, this hands down is one of the best groups that I've had to work with in terms of the level of enthusiasm that people brought to the table, in terms of the level of questions that they brought to it.
Ms. Anika Kentish. In police news, the police are currently investigating a wounding with intent incident which occurred in Bastia, St. Kitts on Friday, May 17th. According to a police communique, police responded to a report of a wounding on Friday afternoon in the vicinity of the Independence Square. Thus far, investigations have revealed that Chad V. Seaton of Harborview, Birdwalk, was stabbed from behind in his left chest area with a sharp object by an assailant. Seaton was transported to the JNF General Hospital where he was treated for his injuries. Police also say investigations into the matter are ongoing. Persons with information about this incident are asked to call the crime hotline at 707. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonmedia.com or check us out on Facebook at Von Radio or our Von Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next.
Ladies and gentlemen, this here's another one for the steppers.
Swipe to win big in 2019. That's right, the Bank of Nevis Limited is once again giving you, our valued customers, a chance to win big. Just swipe or use your Bond Visa credit card for US $100 for a chance to win a cruise for two, an iPhone XS, or a grocery dash at Best Buy Supermarket.
Say what?
Sign up for a Bond Visa credit card and automatically be entered for a chance to win. This offer ends August 31st, 2019. So tell your friends and family, just swipe to win big with the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram.
Welcome back. Another regional news in detail. Out of Barbados. The government of Barbados has agreed to sell a significant portion of its 49% interest in the cash-strapped regional airline Liat. Prime Minister Gaston Brown has confirmed receipt of a letter from Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley expressing a willingness to sell a portion of that country's shares but retaining at least 10%. PM Brown made the announcement on his radio station on the weekend and in a subsequent interview with Observer Media on Sunday. The nation's leader said the shares from Barbados will add to the 34% shares which Antigua and Barbuda currently owns in the regional carrier, and while that may place the Twin Island state in a majority position, the intention is to ensure that more individuals are able to invest in the carrier. Last Wednesday, Prime Minister Mia Mottley stopped short of indicating whether or not her administration would dispose of its 49% interest in the airline, declaring instead that she would not be having any discussions in the public domain. Liat currently employs over 600 people, most of whom are based in Antigua and Barbuda, and operates 491 flights weekly across 15 destinations. Its other shareholders are the governments of Dominica, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and recently Grenada. St. Kitts and Nevis has lately indicated an interest in also becoming a shareholder. Out of Guyana. All four of the former ministers who last month resigned as members of parliament and cabinet members over their dual citizenship are now back in senior government positions, following on the heels of former Minister of State Joseph Harmon being appointed to the newly created position of Director General of the Ministry of the Presidency. Former Foreign Affairs Minister Carl Greenidge, former Business Minister Dominic Gaskin, and former Public Service Minister Dr. Rupert Roopnarine have been given new jobs as well. A statement from the government yesterday disclosed that Greenidge has been appointed Foreign Secretary at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs with responsibility for the Department of Frontiers and Territorial Integrity and the Department of Trade and Economic Cooperation. Gaskin has been appointed Director of Manufacturing and Marketing within the Ministry of Business with responsibility for the enforcement of standards, providing assistance to small producers and access to markets, particularly Eastern Caribbean markets. Dr. Roopnarine has been appointed Director of Public Service Training within the Ministry of the Presidency. Harmon, Greenidge, Gaskin, and Dr. Roopnarine were all forced to step down from their positions after the High Court and Court of Appeal ruled that no one with dual citizenship could sit in the National Assembly of Guyana. And finally, as Jamaica continues to grapple with a prolonged drought, the country's Prime Minister Andrew Holness has announced several initiatives to improve the supply of water to the corporate area and the southeastern parish of St. Catherine, estimated to cost $160 million. Among the new measures he announced yesterday is the construction of a 15 million gallon per day water treatment plant in St. Catherine. The new plant will be established under a public-private partnership PPP arrangement, with the private entity being responsible for finance, design, construct, operate, and maintain this plant, and to sell water to the National Water Commission, NWC. The total cost to develop the project and construct the new water treatment plant is estimated at $60 million. According to Caribbean 360, PM Holness stated that the project will take 24 months. In addition, plans are in place for the installation of 3.0 kilometers of 16-inch transmission mains from King's House Gate, East King's House Road, to West Kings House Road at its intersection with Constant Spring Road. That's it for Regional Stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. A billionaire technology investor has shocked graduating students in Atlanta, Georgia, by telling them he will pay off all of their student loans. Robert F. Smith, one of America's most prominent black philanthropists, was giving an address at Morehouse College, a historically all-male black college. Nearly 400 students will benefit at a cost of tens of millions of dollars. The class of 2019 and their teachers were stunned at the news before breaking into an applause. Mr. Smith, 56, founded private entity firm Vista Equity Partners in 2000 to invest in software companies and has a personal net worth of $5 billion, according to Forbes. According to the BBC, Mr. Smith told the graduates on Sunday, on behalf of the 8 generations of my family that have been in this country, we're going to put a little fuel in your bus. 71-year-old Hollywood star Arnold Schwarzenegger has said he will not press charges after being attacked at an event in South Africa. He was talking to fans at his Arnold Classic Africa sporting event on Saturday when a man drop-kicked him from behind. The attacker was restrained following the incident in Johannesburg. However, on Sunday, Schwarzenegger said he would not be taking the case further. The Terminator star stumbled forward after the kick, while the attacker fell to the ground, where he was immediately restrained by a security guard. The unnamed man was later handed over to police officers. Google has barred the world's second biggest smartphone maker, Huawei, from some updates to the Android operating system, dealing a blow to the Chinese company. New designs of Huawei smartphones are set to lose access to some Google apps. The move comes after the Trump administration added Huawei to a list of companies that American firms cannot trade with unless they have a license. The BBC's Robin Brandt reports.
Huawei made almost 210 million smartphones last year. Almost half stayed here in China, the rest went abroad. That's a huge number of customers who could be affected by this. In a brief statement, the company took much credit for helping Google develop its Android operating system. Huawei also said it will continue to provide security updates and services to all its existing smartphone customers globally. A statement released by Chinese state media, though, appeared to be a little different. It said only that its products in the Chinese market are not affected.
And finally, Ukraine's new president, the comedian turned politician Volodymyr Zelensky, has been sworn in and has wasted no time in confronting the previous establishment. In his inaugural address, he called for the dissolution of parliament and snap election in July 4 months earlier. The BBC's Jonah Fisher reports from Kiev.
Volodymyr Zelensky high-fived the crowd and posed for selfies as he walked the final few meters to his inauguration ceremony. Once inside Parliament, the atmosphere changed. He was surrounded by many of the politicians he spent his entire career as a comedian making jokes about. Having been sworn in, Mr. Zelensky promised to make achieving peace in eastern Ukraine his top priority. He then turned on the MPs, who he said had created a country where people can steal, bribe and loot.
That's it for our news segment. The latest in sports is next.
See you, John.
Betty, how come you never tell me what's going on up at TDC?
Well, I'm glad you asked because TDC Automotive has some awesome deals. Get the car and use spare tire for just $100 plus VAT. And they have selected tires for 30% off. And for the Jeep, if you buy a selected Goodyear tire, you can get a second one for just $99.
Well, well.
And not finished yet. They're offering up to 30% off selected Valvoline oils and universal car mats and a whopping 50% off Energix batteries.
TDC Automotive not making no joke. I going up there now.
Welcome back. Another sports in detail. In football, the Bath United under-17 football team returned to Nevis after participating in an under-17 tournament in St. Martin. It was the second annual Willful Skillful Sports Club regional under-17 football tournament. Coach Alex Claxton reported that they drew the first game versus the defending champions with a scoreline of 0-0, then won the second game with a scoreline of 3-2. The team went into the semi-finals where they were unfortunately defeated by the St. Kitts Trinity Strikers team with a scoreline of 3-0. They qualified for the third place encounter, however, which ended in a no result due to circumstances beyond their control, and the team was awarded the third place trophy as a result. Local sports. Nagico is the main sponsor for the Nevis Cricket Association's tournament. The ceremony took place at the Nagico office located on Chapel Street in Charlestown on Friday, 17th May. The local branch manager effectively handed over a check to the tune of $7,000 to President of the Nevis Cricket Association, Mr. Denrick Liebert, as the company's contribution as the main sponsor of the ongoing 40 overs side cricket tournament being hosted by the local association. Still in sports. President of the Leeward Islands Masters Cricket Association, Mr. Alkins Rogers, has signaled his intention to step down after the upcoming Leeward Islands Masters Cricket Tournament to be hosted in Antigua in June. In a letter addressed to the member territories, President Alkins stated, and I quote, "I wish to inform you that I intend to announce that I am stepping down from the position of President of the Leeward Islands Masters Cricket Tournament during this year's tournament, which will be held in Antigua and Barbuda from June 7th to 9th, 2019, end quote. In 1999, he founded the Leeward Islands Masters Cricket Association. He has served for 21 years at the helm. In his statement, he said he will always be available to provide advice, but the greatest challenge over the years was funding. And finally, with a lead of 2-1 in the East Conference Finals, the Toronto Raptors won last night's game with a score of 118, while the Milwaukee Bucks scored 112 to go on into the finals. In tonight's game, with a 3-0 lead in the West Conference Finals, the Golden State Warriors versus the Portland Trail Blazers will be aired at 9 o'clock. That's it for sports. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back. Another local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight, it will be partly cloudy with a 10% or slight chance of showers. Weather tomorrow will be partly sunny with a 10% or slight chance of showers. Winds are east at 15 to 30 kilometers per hour or 8 to 16 knots with occasional strong gusts. Seas are less than 1.5 meters or less than 5 feet. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:38 a.m. And that's her wrap up the major news package for today, Monday, May 20th, 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, participants launched for Culturama 45 pageants, and Denzel Douglas re-elected unopposed as Labour Party leader at 87th conference. Regionally, Barbados willing to divest some of its Liat shares. Internationally, billionaire to pay entire U.S. class student debt. And in sports, Bath United under-17 secures third place in football tournament in St. Martin. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashan Tyson, wishing you a pleasant evening.